Hello everyone, this is Mike Dunn 878. I got a Wi-Fi match off the Xat, and this is one of my first really big matches. It was actually really long, and there wasn't a lot of stalling involved. It's just he kept doing really defensive switching, so there was a lot of switching going on. But it's an overall really fun match, and this is gonna be my first huge narration, so really long narration and all that. And on a side note, my friend Brenden has been calling me 878 recently, and it bugs me because his name's Mike. So I'm gonna leave his YouTube in the description, and you trolls should go troll him, because I'm gonna do that because I'm a douchebag. Anywho, I'll let the battle start up here. He leads with a Crobat, and I lead with a Latios. And since I led with Latios, I expected him to expect me to be a dual screener, so I magic coded to reflect his taunt, but he actually just goes straight for U-turn, and that takes me down a little. I'm actually defensive, so it doesn't do too much. And he just switches out to Flygon, so he gets the switch initiative. Fearing the Choice Scarf Outrage, I go to Skarmory. He just goes for the U-turn to get switch initiative. And he sends out his Crobat against my Skarmory. And I figured this thing's going to taunt me because it expects me to set up. So I'm just going to go straight for the Brave Bird. And he did reveal he does have taunt. So anyway, I went for the Brave Bird. Good prediction, but it's a Crobat, so I can't really do anything to it. And it can just roost off anything I do. So it's not a good scenario for me. He stays in with his Crobat and goes for the U-turn. I actually wanted to stay in to see what he tried to do with the Crobat. And I just Brave Bird again. He brings in Milotic, and Milotic's not going to take much for this. I think it's like maybe a 4-hit KO after leftovers. Probably 4-hit. Actually, not even that. Maybe like a 5-hit KO. Just looking at that damage there. Anyway, I'm going to call back my Skarmory. I'm going to send out the Lapras to take the Toxic or Ice Beam. And he goes for the Toxic, and I don't really care about my Lapras having Toxic, as you'll see later on. He doesn't care about Toxic at all. So I just didn't want someone else to take that Toxic, but Lapras really don't care about it. He switches in his Bronzong. I just went for the Dragon Dance. And yeah, lefties, poison damage, all that. Residual turn effects. And he actually runs a really random Bronzong. It's actually really physically attacking. So it's more of an attacker Bronzong, and it actually doesn't do too bad during this match. So he obviously can't do anything against Skarmory, so he's gonna switch out to his Torterra, which can't do anything to Skarmory either. So I set up the Swords Dance on the switch, and that probably surprised him because most use spikes. So I actually set up the Swords Dance, and here I actually go for the Atomize just to double my speed and be nimble. But he goes for the Leech Seed, and that's not good because I don't want him Leech Seeding me while I'm setting up, and I'm not going to be healing much in comparison to Leech Seed. Anyway, he sends out Zong here. I just went for the Brave Bird, hoping he'd stay in, thinking I'd keep setting up. But that actually does a decent chunk to Bronzong, even though it's resisted. Considering this Skarmory has no attack investment. But after the Leech Seed and all that, Skarmory's looking pretty grim here. I actually just decided to stay in and try to get damage on it. I don't know why I went for that Atomize. I should have went for the Swords Dance rather than the Atomize, because I'm already way faster than this thing. All I did was make his Gyro Ball more powerful. So, bad move on my part. And his Bronzong, just stay in and take hits from me all day. So I switched to Breloom, and he actually predicted my switch and went for the Earthquake, but I switched to Breloom, so I actually resisted it, so not good typing matchup on his part, since he only has Earthquake and Gyro Ball. Well, and another move he reveals later, but he doesn't want to use it yet. So anyway, I spored his switch, and his switch was Spiritomb. And this thing wrecked me in a previous battle. It's a Calm Mind Spiritomb, so I'm really glad to get the Spore off of it this time. And I switched to Arcanine because I know I'm specially defensive Arcanine. I could take hits from that Spirit Tomb all day. But he actually switches to Crobat as well. Dual switch. And he goes for the taunt here. I don't know what he was expecting me to do, because I just flat out went for Flare Blitz. Maybe he thought I had a buff for like Howl or something, since I do run kind of weird sets. Wanted to be safe. Or maybe thought I had the Will-O-Wisp. But I don't. Anyway, he just U-turns out. Guess he wants to play it safe. Probably going to Milotic here, just because she resists everything I have, pretty much. And I went for the Flare Blitz on the off chance that he'd stay in. And that does an okay amount of damage. And I actually get the burn. Like, come on, 10% chance to burn on a Flare Blitz. Like, I could have gotten the burn on someone a little more useful. All I did was activate this thing's Marvel Scale and make it a big pain in my ass. Because now that Marvel Scale's activated, Breloom's not going to be able to one-hit KO this thing. And I know it's a specially defensive one, just judging by how much Flare Blitz did, even though it's resisted. So anyway, he's just stalling me here. And I don't know if he switches here or he's going to go for the taunt. He actually just goes for the Surf. And that does an okay amount. More than I'm comfortable with. So I just went for the Roar to get rid of him, because I'd rather have someone set up, like Breloom. I'd rather have someone set up and about to attack, with some buffs or something, rather than having Arcanine in his fodder. So I roared about and all that. And he went for the Roost here, which is okay because I went for the Rest. And I actually don't carry the Morning Sun because I have 2 Heal Bellers on this team, so I'd rather the Rest contrast, the 1/3 HP recovery from Morning Sun, and even lower if Sandstorm's up. So I switched to Jolteon, predicting the Brave Bird, but he actually went for U-turn, gets a critical hit, so it does a ton of damage. So Jolteon's pretty much useless at this point. I don't know what I did on this switch. Nope, I switched to Latios, and I know he has Gyro Ball and Earthquake as his attack, so he's going to go Gyro Ball. And I'm actually at max speed Latios, so that one-hit KO'd me. I was really surprised, but at the same time, I guess I shouldn't have been, because it probably had a really high base power. So I came in with Lapras, and I decided to Heal Bell at this point to wake up Arcanine and to cure Lapras. And he took this opportunity to set up Trick Room, and he probably knows what kind of Lapras I am, so, Trick Room, he's obviously going to go for Explosion or something, so I send him my Skarmory to take the Explosion. He went for the Gyro Ball, I don't know why. Skarmory could take another Gyro Ball and roost it off. So, this turn I'm going to go for the Roost. But he just goes flat out for Explosion to get rid of Skarmory. I guess he doesn't want to face Skarmory if it Swords Dances or anything, which I don't blame him, so he takes out my Skarmory with the Explosion, takes himself out as well. So now he sends in Flygon, probably, just to scout who I'm going to bring in, and then U-turn out. And seeing it's a Flygon, I'm just going to go for the Ice Shard, and I actually forgot to bring Life Orb this time. If I had brained the Life Orb, that would have been a one-hit KO. So, kind of unfortunate I didn't, but the leftovers healing is also a big bonus, so I'm not too worried about it. Anyway, he brings in Milotic from his U-turn, and this thing obviously is just going to try to Toxic Stall me or something, so I don't want to put up with that right now, so I switched to Jolteon because I want to get a Discharge or something over it. He goes for the Toxic as I predicted, and at this point I really just want this Milotic dead, because if Milotic dies, Lapras can just plow through the rest of this team. So the Trick Room wears off now, and he actually goes to Torterra and takes my Discharge, so that sucks. I think I switch out Jolteon here. I don't remember. No, actually he goes back into Milotic. And what did I do? I went for the Wish, that's what it was. And I wanted to pass my Wish to my Breloom, because I knew Breloom could probably survive an Ice Beam, even though he doesn't have a lot of special defense. I did invest a lot of more HP than normal in him, So anyway, I just go right for the seed bomb here. It actually does a lot, even though he has the Marvel scale up. And he goes for the ice beam, and my HP keeps going down, and oh my god, I actually survived with 9 HP, and I was just like, no way, I survived that. So Milotic's gonna be threatened to be KO'd here, and plus my toxic orb and everything's activating, so he's not in a good position. And if I have the sword stance, I could probably sweep a few of them, barring Crobat. So he switches the Crobat to take the seed bomb, 4 times resist. So I actually bring in my Arcanine here to take the Brave Bird. And yeah, he does the Brave Bird, and this actually does a lot more than I'm comfortable with. I didn't think it would do this much, so maybe this thing has some attack investment. This Arcanine doesn't have any defensive investment, but it's still an Arcanine, so it has base 80 in its defenses, so it's enough. Anyway, he goes for the Brave Bird here. I didn't have anything else to do, so I just went for the Flare Blitz, and this Arcanine doesn't have extreme speed, so even though I bring him down really low, I didn't get to KO him. I actually died from recoil anyway, so it doesn't matter. Anyway, I'm going to bring in Lapras on the off chance that he stays in, and I can Ice Shard him, but he's obviously going to switch to Milotic, take the Ice Shard like a beast. Plus he has the Marvel scale up, so there's just no way I could do anything to this Milotic. So anyway, he takes that Ice Shard very well. All this. Get the lefties, all that. Burn damage. Anyway, he just goes for the recovery here, and for some odd reason I thought I was faster than it. I don't know why, because I have no speed investment, and he has higher base speed. So I went for the waterfall, hoping to get a flinch or something. Plus burn would probably KO it, but I'm not going to outspeed that thing. So anyway, I think he goes for the recover. Yeah, he goes for the recover here too. I played it safe and I went for the Dragon Dance, just because I really need this Milotic dead, because it's completely stopping Lapras from just plowing through this team. And I never realized until this battle that Lapras was such an offensive player on my team. So anyway, I go for the second Dragon Dance here, so +2. And he just goes for the Toxic. And I actually don't care about Toxic, because you've seen earlier I've used Heal Bell, so a Lapras with Heal Bell doesn't care about Toxic. I have Heal Bell on this Lapras actually to prevent Will-O-Wisp or T-Wave, so it's actually not there for Toxic, but it'll work against Toxic or whatever, so it doesn't matter. Anyway, he sends in Spirit Tomb. I actually Heal Belled this turn, so I'll get rid of my poison, so I can actually set up without worrying about poison, so that's good. And obviously there's not much the Spirit Tomb can do, because it's asleep, and sleep counters reset in 5th gen, so this is only its first turn of sleep. So I go for the Dragon Dance just to set up, and then I'm at +3 at this point, and a +3 waterfall only does maybe a little over half. So I'm actually going to set up again. So at this point I'm at +4. And he's still asleep. And I set up again. So I'm at +5. +5 here. And he wakes up and he goes for the Pain Slit. And he's going to get back all his HP just because I have a lot of HP. I'm a Lapras. He's base 130 or 40 or something like that. So yeah, I go for the waterfall. This is a +5 waterfall. Max defense Spirit Tomb, and it still doesn't KO in one hit. Anyway, he goes for the HP fighting here, it's obvious. And it doesn't really do much at all, so oh well. So he's just gonna stay in probably, and I'll just waterfall, so it doesn't matter. Nothing he switches to will be able to take a +5 waterfall well. Even Milotic will take a bit from it. And from this point it's just a pretty straightforward sweep. He's going to bring his Torterra. I'm going to go for the Ice Shard. It's obviously going to KO because, I'm at +5 and he's 4 times weak and I have Stab on it and everything, so that thing's destroyed. Unless I did Focus Sash and Wood Hammer, I don't see how it could ever KO me. And it would KO itself in the process of recoil. Anyway, he brings in Flygon. I just go for the Ice Shard. Ice Shard's an actually underrated move on Lapras. I think everyone should have Ice Shard on a Dragon Dancing Lapras. And he brings in Crobat. I'm going to go for the Ice Shard. Ice Shard, I'll take it out. And that's that. And he sends out Milotic here. And I just go for the Waterfall. And he actually told me in that, he was like, I'm just going to keep using, I won't spam Recover. I'll just keep using something else until you kill me or whatever. So that's what he did here. I cut it off at a point. I don't remember which point I cut it off at. Anyway, another Waterfall. It's almost dead at this point. I think the battle lasted maybe like another turn or so. He goes for the Toxic, so y'all know how that went, so I just cut it off there. Anyway, I really liked that match. It was extremely long, so if you actually stayed and watched all of that, kudos to you. It was a really fun match. I had a lot of fun, and Skastope is pretty cool defensive playing player. He said the team wasn't built well, but I think it was pretty well. And yeah, Mike Dunn 878. Comment, rate, subscribe, and any SOS viewers, I'm making a Scrafty set, so keep an eye out for that one. And see ya.